All right, buckle up, everybody, because today we are taking a deep dive into the world of Spanish cuisine. Spain is absolutely killing it in the food world right now, so much so that they've even got France a little nervous.
It's true. Spain currently has 3 of the top 5 restaurants in the world's 50 best restaurants list.
Wow, 3 out of 5. That's incredible. What's the secret to their success? How did Spain climb to the very top of the culinary world?
Well, it's not some passing trend or fad. Spanish cuisine has incredibly deep roots. They have a strong dedication to amazing ingredients and a real focus on technique. All of this has been developing for centuries. It's like Chef Angel Leon of Poniente said, Spain doesn't create trends, it's about longevity and products.
Okay, so this is not just a trendy fad. It's a deeply rooted culinary tradition. But what about the really innovative stuff? Those restaurants pushing the boundaries of what food can be. What about Disfrutar, the new #1 restaurant in the world? Tell me about that.
Disfrutar is a really interesting case. The name itself means enjoy in Spanish, and that idea is reflected in the entire experience they provide. And get this, the chefs, Oriol Castro, Mateo Casañas, and Edward Zatruch, they actually trained at the legendary El Bulli.
Oh, wow. The El Bulli, of course.
Yeah. We'll definitely talk about that more a little bit later, but for now, just know that they've taken that innovative spirit from El Bulli and added a sense of playfulness and joy.
Interesting. Playfulness and joy.
Yeah.
Especially coming from a restaurant now considered to be the very best in the world.
Yeah.
Can you give me some examples of their most popular dishes? What are people going crazy for?
Well, picture this. You're biting into this pancino bun, but it's not just any ordinary bun. It's literally oozing with beluga caviar. Or maybe you'd rather savor a spherified corn tartine topped with foie gras. It's truly incredible molecular gastronomy meets comfort food, but with a distinct Spanish twist.
I can see why people are raving about it. Okay, so we've got Disfrutar, but I'm guessing they're not the only Spanish restaurant making waves right now, right?
Oh, absolutely not. The top 50 list is filled with other incredible Spanish restaurants. Asador Exibari, Diver Exo, Quique de Costa, Elcano, each one unique in its own way. But the really interesting thing is that all of these restaurants, they represent a full spectrum of Spanish cuisine, from the super avant-garde to the deeply traditional.
Ah, so it's not just about molecular gastronomy and these really fancy techniques. It's also about honoring those traditional methods and ingredients, right? This makes me think about what Pablo Vicari said about Spanish food.
Yeah,
He's the chef at Elcano, the seafood place,
you
right?
got it. Elcano, he said. In Spain, whether it's about pushing the boundaries of culinary creativity or honoring traditional techniques, it's all about quality and sophistication of the product, which really does cut to the heart of what makes Spanish cuisine so special.
Okay, now we're getting a better picture of what defines Spanish cuisine. But now we have to talk about, well, sort of the elephant in the room. Or maybe we should say the liquid olive in the room, El Bulli.
Ah, yes, El Bulli.
Can you tell us a little bit about this legendary restaurant and why it was so groundbreaking?
Oh, absolutely. El Bulli, led by the famous Ferran Adrià, was nothing short of a culinary revolution. They were unbelievably influential. Not only do they hold the record for the most world's best restaurant wins, mind-blowing 5 times, but they totally changed how we think about food.
5 times. Wow.
They invented over 1,800 dishes during their time, constantly pushing the boundaries of what was possible with creativity and technique.
1,800 dishes. That's unbelievable. But was their success just a sudden burst of genius, or was there something else going on in Spain that led to this?
That's a great question. El Bulli didn't just come out of nowhere. It was part of a larger movement that was already happening in Spain, particularly in the Basque region.
You're talking about the Nueva Cocina Vasca movement, right? Tell me more about that. How did it influence El Bulli and the rest of the Spanish food scene?
Back in the 1970s, chefs like Juan Mari Arzac, he later won a Lifetime Achievement Award, by the way, and Pedro Subijana were already developing this new cooking style, blending Basque traditions with modern techniques and a focus on the freshest local ingredients.
So El Bulli, it wasn't just some isolated phenomenon. It was actually built upon a foundation of innovation and a deep connection to local ingredients.
Exactly. It's really fascinating to see how that back and forth between tradition and innovation continues to influence Spanish cuisine today.
We've talked a lot about Michelin stars and those cutting-edge techniques, but now let's shift gears a bit and talk about the heart and soul of any cuisine, the ingredients.
Of course, Spain is lucky to have this just incredible array of high-quality produce, seafood, and obviously olive oil. Just imagine, from the prawns in Catalonia to the baby peas in Basque Country to the red tuna in Andalusia, Spain's incredibly diverse regions offer so many culinary treasures.
And we can't forget about the world-famous Iberian ham.
Ah, yes, the jamón ibérico, a true delicacy. These are the kinds of ingredients cultivated with such love and care that really make up the foundation of Spanish cuisine. From the simplest tapas to the most elaborate Michelin-starred creations, it all comes back to the ingredients.
You know, what's really striking me is that Spanish cuisine seems very accessible. You can experience this amazing food culture at so many different price points. It's not just for the elite, right?
That's so true. I think Angel Leon perfectly described it when he said that Spain offers a unique combination of fine dining and incredibly affordable tapas. And don't forget those amazing mid-range restaurants, which can be hard to come by in other parts of the world.
I read somewhere that 28% of the 84 million tourists who visited Spain in 2023 actually went there specifically for the food.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, it's a testament to how appealing and delicious Spanish cuisine truly is.
It really is. Spanish food is all about celebrating life, sharing meals with loved ones, and really savoring those amazing flavors.
I love that. So we've talked about history, innovation, incredible ingredients, and accessibility. But what does all this mean for the future of Spanish cuisine?
Well, that's a great question. I think one of the biggest challenges, but also opportunities for Spanish chefs, is finding a balance between pushing culinary boundaries and honoring the traditions.
It's about respecting the past while embracing the future.
You got it. It's a tough balancing act, but I think Spanish chefs are doing a fantastic job of it.
This has been an incredible deep dive so far. It feels like we're just beginning to uncover what makes Spanish cuisine so special.
Welcome back. Right before the break, we were talking about that unique combination of tradition and innovation in Spanish cuisine.
Oh, yeah. And those unbelievable ingredients. It really does feel like they have a culinary treasure chest over there. And we can't forget how accessible Spanish food is. So many options no matter what your budget is. It's not just those fancy tasting menus.
Absolutely. And now let's dig a little deeper and look at some specific examples of how this all plays out. I think it'd be interesting to really focus on some of these Spanish restaurants that are making such a splash on the global food scene.
I like that. I'm ready for a virtual culinary tour.
All right. Well, let's start by going back to Disfrutar, that restaurant that's currently at the top of the world's best restaurant list. Remember those chefs? Oriol Castro, Mateo Casañas, and Eduard Zatruc.
Yes. The El Bulli alumni. What an incredible experience that must have been. Did that training influence their approach at Disfrutar?
That's a really good question. It's clear to see the El Bulli influence in their love of innovation and incredible technique. But at Disfrutar, they've taken that foundation and added something new to it. They're making food that's groundbreaking, but also incredibly fun.
Fun. Now I'm even more interested. What exactly makes it so fun?
Well, one thing is the atmosphere. It's much more relaxed and playful than a typical fine dining restaurant. They've gotten rid of the white tablecloths and created this really modern and inviting space. And the food itself is fun, too. Think back to that caviar stuffed pancino bun we were talking about earlier. It's like this cool and playful take on a classic street food.
I see. So they're not afraid to add in that element of fun, even while operating at the top of the culinary world. I really like that. That makes the whole experience feel less intimidating and more approachable.
I think that's a big part of why they're so successful. They're pushing the boundaries of what's possible with food, but they're also making fine dining more accessible and enjoyable to everyone.
I like their style.
Yeah.
Okay, so Disfrutar is playful and innovative. Now, let's switch gears completely and jump over to Asador Exibari. Didn't they come in at #2 on the world's best restaurants list? What's their story?
Asador Exibari is totally different. It's a testament to the power of simplicity, tradition, and, of course, fire. The chef, Victor Arganzanias, he's a total master of grilling, and he takes it to another level entirely. Everything is cooked on these custom-built grills that he designed himself, and they're fueled by different types of wood.
I've heard he even grows the water he uses for infusions. Is that really true?
Absolutely. He's obsessed with capturing the pure essence of each ingredient, and he uses the grill in such a unique way. It's a very primal way of cooking, and the results are unbelievable.
So on the one hand, we have Disfrutar, which is all about pushing boundaries and exploring new possibilities. And then we have Asador Exibari, which is focused on mastering the fundamentals. What other kinds of culinary treasures does Spain have up its sleeve?
How about we head to Madrid? It's time for a dose of pure creativity at Diver XO.
Diver XO. Sounds intriguing. Tell me more.
Diver XO is the creation of Chef de Biz Munoz, who's a true culinary maverick. It's a 3 Michelin-starred restaurant that's completely devoted to pushing the boundaries of imagination and creating unique sensory experiences. Just imagine. The dishes are like edible works of art. Vibrant colors, unexpected textures, bold flavors, it's all there.
Yeah, I've seen pictures and they look absolutely incredible.
Oh, they definitely are. Munoz gets inspiration from all over the world, but he always keeps a distinct Spanish heart and soul in every dish. Eating there is truly an adventure for the senses.
So we've got playful, we've got traditional, and we've got super avant-garde. What other amazing parts of the Spanish culinary world should we check out?
Well, let's not forget about those amazing restaurants showcasing all the incredible ingredients found along Spain's gorgeous coastline. El Cano, in that charming Basque fishing village of Guetaria, is a perfect example.
Oh, El Cano. That's the place everyone raves about for their grilled turbo, right?
Yeah.
What is it that makes their turbo so special?
It's simple. The quality of their ingredients and their dedication to simple preparation. They use only the highest quality turbo, sourced directly from the Bay of Biscay, and then they grill it to perfection over charcoal. The result is this incredibly pure and delicate flavor, a true celebration of the ingredient itself.
I love that. Sometimes it's not about all the bells and whistles and fancy techniques. Sometimes it's about letting the quality of those ingredients shine through.
You said it, and that's one of the things that Spanish cuisine does so incredibly well. From those stunning Michelin-starred masterpieces to a simple plate of tapas, the focus always comes back to showcasing those amazing flavors that Spain is known for.
You know, as we're going through all these restaurants, I'm noticing a theme here. It seems like no matter what style of cuisine we're talking about, there's always this deep respect for tradition and this strong commitment to using only the very best ingredients.
That's a great observation. That's a huge part of what makes Spanish cuisine so exciting. It's like this beautiful blend of tradition, innovation, and a deep love for food and its power to connect us.
I think you're absolutely right. It's fascinating. This culinary renaissance isn't just happening in fancy restaurants, though, is it? It's a movement that's changing every part of Spanish food culture, wouldn't you say? From the lively markets to the bustling tapas bars, it's everywhere you look.
It really is. I mean, we've already talked about how accessible Spanish cuisine is something everyone can enjoy, and what makes it so accessible.
Well, for one, there's that fantastic culture of tapas, which lets people try all these different dishes without having to spend a fortune. And then, of course, there are the markets, which are like culinary wonderlands. You can find anything and everything there, from the freshest produce and artisanal cheeses to delicious cured meats.
Absolutely. Oh, and we can't forget about home cooking.
That's true. What role does that play in Spanish food culture these days?
Home cooking is still so central to Spanish life. Families love getting together on the weekends to create these elaborate meals. They're passing down recipes and traditions from one generation to the next, you know? It's all about connecting with their heritage and celebrating the simple joy of being together, enjoying good food and good company.
I love that image.
Yeah.
So it's not just professional chefs and fancy restaurants. It's about families and communities united by their shared love of food and tradition.
Exactly. And that's what makes it all so special. It's this vibrant, living tradition, always evolving, but never forgetting those roots.
Okay, so we've talked about those world-class restaurants, the lively markets, and the important role of home cooking. Is there anything else we need to cover before we wrap things up?
You know what? There's one more thing about Spanish food that I find so fascinating, and that's its regional diversity.
Oh, yes, of course. Spain has so many distinct regions, and they each have their own unique culinary traditions, right? What can you tell us about that?
Spain is full of culinary surprises. For instance, if you go to the Basque country, you'll find dishes heavily influenced by the sea. Things like marmitaco, which is a hearty tuna stew, or tacanguro, a delicious spider crab dish. Then you head south to Andalusia, and you find all these Moorish influences in dishes like gazpacho, a cold tomato soup, and pescado frito, their classic fried fish.
Wow. Each region has its own unique personality and culinary history. That makes exploring Spanish cuisine even more exciting.
It really does. It's like you're going on this delicious culinary road trip across Spain where you're discovering all these incredible new flavors and traditions at every turn.
You know what? After hearing all of this, I'm even more convinced that Spanish cuisine is really in a league of its own. It's so much more than just tasty food. It's a reflection of the country's long and rich history, its vibrant culture, and the warmth of its people.
I couldn't agree more. It's a cuisine so clearly rooted in tradition, fueled by pure passion and constantly evolving. And best of all, it has something to offer everyone, whether you're a total foodie or you're just starting your culinary adventures.
Well, I don't know about you, but all this talk has made me crave a big plate of patatas bravas and a glass of Rioja.
Ooh, me too. Or maybe some paella by the beach. The options are endless.
This deep dive has been absolutely amazing. We hope it's inspired all of you listening to explore the world of Spanish cuisine. Whether you're planning a trip to Spain or you're just going to try a new Spanish recipe at home, we encourage you to enjoy the journey. Savor the flavors, embrace the culture, and experience the joy of Spanish food. Until next time, happy eating.